Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. No? Today, our topic is about evidence-based decision making, no, for public administration. Evidence-based decision making in public administration represent a strategic shift from intuition-driven or politically motivated choices toward grounded or toward decisions grounded in data, research, and empirical analysis. In an era of complex governance challenges, public institutions are expected to justify policies and programs based on measurable outcomes, verified information, and objective evaluation. Uh, Evidence-based decision-making or EBDM plays a transformative role in improving service delivery and institutional performance. Through the systematic use of administrative data, performance metrics, impact evaluation, and stakeholder evidence, public managers can better diagnose problems, design responsive intervention, and monitor results. For Philippine local department, this approach support transparency, result-based management, and alignment with national development frameworks while fostering a culture of learning and accountability within public organizations. At this point, I would like to give the floor to our presenter who will discuss how evidence-based decision-making in public administration can transform local departments through data-driven and empirical analysis. Go ahead po. Go ahead po. Go ahead.
Good day, everyone. My name is Drev J. Cresido, and I'm going to talk about the evidence based decision making or EBDM in public administration, transforming local departments through data and empirical analysis. Today, we are diving into a critical pillar of modern governance, the EBDM. Now, our goal today is to understand how we can transition from traditional intuition based governance to a system where every peso spent is backed by empirical data. So, we are going to start this with the quote: EBDM is no longer just an option, it is a necessity. So, what do we exactly mean by EBDM? It is the process of making decisions by putting the best available research at the heart of the policy development. It is a triple intersection, as you can see here, by Colorado Evaluation and Action Lab in 2024. We just don't look at numbers. We combine objective data with the professional expertise of our civil servants and the unique values of our community. So, as you can see here, nahati siya sa tatlo. Number one, best available research evidence. Ito yung mga scientific studies, statistical data, and evaluations. Next, decision maker expertise. Ito yung mga experience, professional judgment ng local officials. And last, yung community context, the unique needs, values, and preferences of the local constituents. So ang goal here is to move away from opinion-based policy, driven by ideology or intuition, toward evidence-informed results. Here is our key legal and policy frameworks sa ating mga Republic Acts. Number 1, Local Government Code of 1991, RA 7160. It mandates LGUs to promote the general welfare and empowers them to create local development plans. Next is the SGLG Act or RA 11-2092. It institutionalizes the seal of good local governance, requiring LGUs to meet data-driven criteria in 10 governance areas. And number 3, the CBMS Act or the RA 11315. It establishes the community-based monitoring system as a mandatory tool for local poverty diagnosis and targeted interventions. So, what is the core tools for EBDM? No, as you can see here, ito yung mga tools na ginagamit. CBMS or Community-Based Monitoring System, household level census conducted by LGUs. This is to identify specific indigent families for social protection programs. Next, LGPMS or Local Governments Performance Management System. Ito yung self-assessment of LGU, administrative and developmental capacity. Next, CDP or CLUP, yung Comprehensive Development Plan or Land Use Plans. Is the data-driven long-term planning for urban growth and disaster risk. Next, yung EGOV o yung ELGU, yung Real-Time Monitoring App. It is a citizen feedback and project monitoring on the ground. Next, yung sa social welfare, CBMS, or and listahan, to the selection of beneficiaries for AIX and 4Ps for local parallels. And last, sa mga barangay, ito yung AIP and Barangay Assembly para mag-reallocate ng funds to programs with high impact metrics. Now we are going to proceed with our case studies. No, we will talk about the case study 1, poverty reduction, CBMS in action. For example, yung LGU Bula sa Camarines Sur, it's a term na 2024-2025. The evidence, the 2024 CBMS rollout provided disaggregated data on garbage collection, coverage, and disaster response capabilities at the household level. So, ang decision ng LGU, the LGU used this data to reallocate budget from general administrative costs to specific barangays with high unmet needs in sanitation. The result, targeted procurement of waste management equipment and localized DRRM training for high-risk households. Now we are going to proceed with our case study 2, performance management or the SGLG, seal of good local governance. So, the seal of good local governance is facilitated by DILG, no? It operates the all-in 10 principles na kailangan nilang mapas, including financial administration, disaster preparedness, social protection, and health efficiency. No, so LGUs like Quezon City and Agusan del Sur have used SGLG metrics as internal KPIs, leading to systematic improvements in maternal health and business permit processing times. No, so yung mga LGU must pass all 10 governance areas to be an awardee. So this creates a powerful incentive for departments to cooperate. For example, yung budget office cannot succeed unless yung health and social welfare offices provide the necessary performance data. So it forces the entire LGU to move towards a culture of documentation. And yung winning the seal of good local governance is the ultimate proof that the LGU is practicing evidence-based decision making. Now let's proceed to our case study 3. Perhaps ito yung most famous example, no, sa Agusan del Sur, yung kanilang USAD program. It succeeded because they look at the evidence. Yung poverty rate nila concentrated sa uplands. No, instead sa mga general programs, they brought rubber and cacao seedlings to the mountains. By using household level data, they ensured that the poorest of the poor were the primary beneficiaries. So this resulted in a massive 12.6 drop sa kanilang poverty rate over just a few years. No? So, ang source natin si Galing Pook Foundation ng 2021. Our last case study is departmental sa ating mga city health offices. The evidence analysis of attack rates and case fatality rates during local outbreaks. For example, dengue. So, ang decision rather than a city-wide fogging operations, which is expensive and inefficient, yung CHO natin uses spatial mapping to target specific porons or specific areas with high mosquito larvae counts. Ang resulta nito, 40% reduction in chemical costs and more effective suppression ng outbreak. To our source, Department of Health and Philippine Health Facility Development Plan 2020 to 2040. Why EBDM matters for LGUs and departments? Number one, efficiency. It optimizes limited local budgets by funding what actually works. Number two, accountability. It provides a clear data-backed rationale for decisions. Number three, responsiveness. It tailors programs to the actual demographic and socioeconomic needs of the community rather than copy pasting the national programs. But there's no wrong in copy pasting national programs long as it is backed by data. Next, continuity. It ensures that the good programs survive political transitions because their success is documented. So, kahit magkaroon tayo ng mga next term, documented yung mga success ng programs because documented yung success ng mga programs because nagkaroon tayo ng mga data collections. So, mare-retain siya, masusustain. Next, what are the challenges to EBDM? Number one, isolated data. Information is often trapped in specific departments. For example, health data is not shared with planning. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga duplicates kasi nagkakaroon ng ah, isolation ng mga data. So, hindi na share yung data ni Department 1 sa Department 2. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng duplicates ng mga surveys, duplicates ng collection ng data. Number two, capacity gaps. Yung smaller departments or municipalities may lack technical staff to perform complex data analytics. Number three, political pressure. Decisions are sometimes made for political optics rather than what the data suggests is the most effective. And last, data timeliness. Some municipalities, some departments are still relying on census data that may be 3 to 5 years old na. So, can be reliable pa, pwede ring magbago. So, dapat lagi talagang nagkakaroon ng data collection yearly or in every term. So, our last is the best practices for future implementations. Now, we need to invest in digitalization. We need to adopt ELGU platforms for real-time data collection. No? For example, yung Maynaga app, eGov, o yung DevLive ng DILG. Next, institutionalized monitoring and evaluation or M&E. Don't just implement, create a feedback loop to see if the evidence-based plan work. No? So every projects naman and programs natin, nagkakaroon talaga tayo ng feedback saka mga surveys to see if the programs are implemented well. Next, capacity building. Regular training for the Local Development Council, yung LDC, on data interpretation. So, applies din to sa mga every department, no? Nagkakaroon dapat tayo ng regular training sa data interpretation. Next, community participation. Use the community to validate if the data reflects their live reality. No? So, hindi lang dapat tayo nag-rely sa uh, opinion. So, dapat magkakaroon tayo ng actual data kung ano talaga yung hinaharap ng ating community. So, in conclusion, EBDM is the bridge between good intentions and real-world results. So, by using the tools that we have discussed, yung CBMS to SGLG, we can ensure that our local government is not just active, but effective. No, as noted by Davies in 2004, EBDM ensures that we fund programs that actually work rather than programs that simply sound good. So that ends my presentation. This is my references. Thank you for listening and have a good day.
Okay, so okay. The presentation emphasizes that effective EBDM begins with a clear problem definition process supported by reliable data system. Public administrators must move beyond descriptive statistics and focus on analytical questioning, identifying root causes, pattern in policy relevant insights. High quality administrative data combined with empirical methods enable leaders to distinguish between symptoms and structural issues. This analytical discipline allows local governments to prioritize intervention with the highest potential impact. Another insights in the integration of empirical analysis into a full policy cycle from agenda setting to evaluation. Evidence is most powerful when it informs not only initial decision but also implementation of adjustment and post-program assessment. The discussion highlights the value of impact evaluation, performance dashboards, and comparative benchmark in determining whether policies achieve intended outcomes. And this continuous feedback loop supports adaptive governance and evidence-informed learning at the institutional level. So the presentation underscored that institutionalizing EPDM or evidence-based decision-making requires leadership, commitment, technical capacity, and enabling organizational culture. Data-driven tools alone are insufficient without skilled analysts, interoperable systems, and leaders who value evidence over convenience or political pressure. So embedding evidence-based decision-making into standard operating procedures, planning processes, and accountability mechanism ensure sustainability. So evidence-based decision-making empowers public institutions to make smarter, fairer, and more defensible decisions that improve public value and strengthen trust in governance. Okay? So that's it for this